Hey guys, it's Joe. It's time for a Pikket with Joe. It is Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. It really feels like a Thursday. December 13th, we are on the countdown to Christmas. You guys, we've got 12 games on the ice today. We're going to break each and every one of these down. Got some props for you guys today. I also have a parlay we'll build at the end and my best bets for the show. So big shout out to everyone who's already jumping in here. See you guys coming in nice and fast. So thank you for joining me. Make sure you join me back here at 3:30 Eastern too. Before I let you guys know, I have Kedrick Taylor, ex-NFL wide receiver. He's known for that famous catch that got Brett Favre his first winning touchdown in that one game. So make sure you join me back here. But let's talk some hockey for now, you guys. Like I said, 12 games on the ice tonight. We're going to move through these fast so they don't take too long. If you're just joining and don't want to sit here for the next hour, I will bookmark them so you can jump through the ones that you like as well as when that parlay and everything hits at the end. So let's jump off with the first one. We got the Anaheim Ducks taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now we have a huge line on this game, plus 390 here for the Ducks, minus 530 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So if you like the Leafs here, you're going to have to lay an extended puck line of over 2.5 to get any kind of value, but even I still don't like it. The Ducks here at plus 2.5, if you think they can keep this tight, would be minus 118. Now the Ducks did win this last matchup back in October. It was a 4-3 win for the Anaheim Ducks. So they were able to keep things tight in that one. John Gibson is expected in goal for them tonight. Now he's got a 3.99 goals against average. Samsonov confirmed for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So definitely Toronto coming in here with the stronger goalie, 1.88. Now the problem with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we all know this, is they play down to their competition. So this is kind of one of those spots where you can see Toronto kind of relax a little bit in this game. Now they're off that overtime win on Saturday over my Calgary Flames. That was a 5-4 win for them. That was a win in overtime. Majority of their goals they did score in that game were on power plays because the Calgary Flames could not stay out of the penalty box. So if the Ducks can play a smarter game in this one, they could keep this one tight with how the Maple Leafs play down to their competition. Now, I'd be looking to prop bet, though. You can look at Mitch Marner for that anytime goal in this one. He's scored at least one goal in 7 of the Maple Leafs' last 8 games. So he's been playing phenomenal. We know he was on that point streak run. And I do think this is a solid game for him tonight. Now, we know the Leafs, while playing down to the competition, this Ducks team really struggles on that back-to-back. They do not play well on 0 days rest, going 0-5. For me, this is a stay-off game. I don't love this game. Mitch Marner is the only way that I'd really like to bet this for his points tonight or that anytime goal. I do think we will see him get the back of the net of John Gibson here. So give me Mitch Marner. And I think you got to look at the over 6.5. We know Toronto's going to come out firing. They're averaging 3.21 goals per game. And the defense of the Ducks are allowing that 4.17. So then your question mark becomes, can the Ducks score enough goals to help us push this one over? Again, Mitch Marner is the only thing that I like in this game. Just way highly juiced here on the Toronto Maple Leafs. The next game on the board, we got the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the Florida Panthers. Now, this one kicks off at 7 o'clock Eastern. We got a total that opened at 7 actually come down to 6.5. Now Columbus is rolling in here at plus 235 here on that money line, minus 295 for the Florida Panthers. We are seeing a lot of really inflated favorites in these matches tonight. Elvis expected for the Columbus Blue Jackets, which just seems like a nail in a coffin for this team. Elvis not able to stop anything out on that ice as of late. Or as of this season. He's got a 4.83 goals against average. We've got Bobrovsky confirmed for the Florida Panthers. He's got a 3.58. Now, we've seen Florida Panthers lose their last 2 games, the last one being over the Kraken. That was a 5-2 win for the Seattle Kraken. Congratulations to everyone who tailed that from Pikket with Joe. And we've seen the Columbus Blue Jackets get some nice momentum going. They've won their last 2 games. They got that overtime win over LA. It was a high-scoring 6-5 battle here in that one. This is our first game here of a road trip. I think there's value on looking at the Columbus Blue Jackets plus 1.5 and minus 100 on that puck line, or their team total over 2.5. Both of these, you're not paying too much juice. The over 2.5 is minus 102 for this one. So I definitely think it is a good way to look at this team. Columbus just rolling nicely, but they have struggled in Florida. Strong trends towards that home team as well, going 6-2 in the last 8 meetings, and the Blue Jackets going 2-8 in the last 10. Now, when we look at the Columbus Blue Jackets coming off an overtime game, they covered that puck line in their last 13 and their last 17 night games following an overtime game. So they come in strong after overtime. They've also won their last 7 games following overtime. So there might be value here on the sprinkle on the Columbus Blue Jackets at plus 235. My concern here is Elvis. Elvis has absolutely shown his struggles. We know how phenomenally he has played in games. We saw him last season absolutely be able to stand on his head in some of these games. We just haven't seen it so far. Is he due tonight? He might be, but I'm not banking on it. I'm not putting my hard-earned money on that sprinkle on the money line, but I won't be shocked if they're able to do that here. Columbus does have a lot of talent. They just haven't been able to pull things together. Now, if you're looking for a player prop, look at Patrick Lane here. He scored at least 1 goal in each of the Blue Jackets' last 3 games. He's definitely going to come out strong in this one tonight. And if I had to look at this total, I think I would go over the total of 6.5. Now that it's down from 7, I think there's value on taking it over. The Dallas Stars taking on the New Jersey Devils. Now this is going to be an interesting one out on the ice. We have Scott Wedgwood expected here for the Dallas Stars. Schmid here expected for the New Jersey Devils. He's got a 1.7 goals against average. Both these teams have been able to light up the net. Excuse me. Both of these teams are on a back-to-back. So we really see tired legs for the Dallas Stars on that back-to-back. They've lost their last 4 on the second leg of a back-to-back. I think the Devils have that home ice advantage here. They're off that loss to the Rangers last night. Now, that was a 4-3 loss in overtime. The Dallas Stars played the Penguins last night. That was a 2-1 win for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Dallas and the Penguins played a really hard game. I think they're going to have more tired legs than we will see out of the New Jersey Devils. When I look at this, the Devils have won 7 of their last 8 games at home coming off of overtime. I think this is a really good spot to back the Devils here. We look at the Stars too, and we looked at this last night. One of the reasons we faded the Stars last night versus teams with winning records, the Stars just are not stepping up. We don't have Ottinger. We have Wedgwood, and I do like Wedgwood. I like what we've seen out of him, but I can't trust them here. 1-6 in their last 7 versus teams with winning records. They have won 4 of the last 5 meetings between them and the Devils, but I give it to the Devils here on home ice. Both these teams on a back-to-back. The next game on the board. Hey, Joe, thank you for tuning into the show, and thank you everyone else who is jumping in here. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button over here on YouTube. And if you're looking to shop your lines, head on over to Betstamp. Use referral code Madden. Always get the best value before placing your bets. It's a free app, you guys. Check it out. The LA Kings taking on the Buffalo Sabres, 7 o'clock Eastern for this one as well. We see the Kings here are slight favorites of -111, -108 for the Buffalo Sabres, and this total opening at 6.5 now up to 7, and rightly so. Both of these teams are able to get the puck in the back of the net. My only concern here is the inconsistencies that we've seen out of the Kings offensively. Are they going to be able to put up enough goals in this one for us to get over that total? I do think that they can in this one. We've seen the Buffalo Sabres play phenomenally offensively, averaging that 3.86 goals per game and 32.7 shots on goal. We know Tag Thompson in that one game had just absolutely lights out game. Expecting a solid game out of both of these teams today. Now, Copley is confirmed in goal. Remember, we rode with the LA Kings over the Montreal Canadiens on the puck line. Copley was the goalie in, so he played phenomenal. He's had 2 games so far this season for the LA Kings and has a 2 goals against average. So I think we can expect a solid one out of him here tonight, and Anderson, but who is in for the Sabres. But I do think offensively, these teams are just so phenomenal. This is a 4-3 style game. Now, which way would I go with this? I lean on the Buffalo Sabres here for the win. I love them here at -108. I think it is a solid way to go if you want to take a side. But I do think looking at that over is a better way to go. And I do lean on that first period. We can get the first period over 1.5. You want to buy it up to 2. You're going to get some positive money there, taking that first period over. If you're like me and you like to bet both of those teams to score, if you think both of these teams to score will happen in that first period, instead of betting that over 1.5, just bet both teams to score in that first period, which always pays you better plus money. Buffalo, 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 says Jason. Yeah, I'm with you. This is the way I'm leaning with this game. You got to lean on the Buffalo Sabres here to have a great performance at home. Looking at them at home, they're 6-8-2 at home. Really need to pick things up. 8-8 on that puck line, and the Kings rolling in here. 8-6-3 and 11-6 on that puck line on the road. I just cannot trust in the inconsistency of this Kings team, and to have them come in here as a favorite, in which the Kings are 2-10 in their last 12 meetings in Buffalo, but have covered the puck line in their last 4. Like I said, tight games. I'd put a 3 or a 4-3 exact goal score bet in. Either way, you bet both sides of it. I could really see this one landing on a 4-3. The only concern there is that empty netter. And then, like I said, the over 6.5, I think, is definitely the best bet. Strong trends to that over. The Kings, in their last 7 games, 5 of those have gone over it. The Sabres last 5 versus the Western Conference over. The Sabres coming in playing on 2 days of rest are 6-0 to that over. And the Kings in the last 7 games coming off overtime have gone over the total in all of those games. So give me the over 6.5. The New York Islanders taking on the Boston Bruins, plus a 210 for the Islanders, minus a 260 for the Boston Bruins. We got a total sitting steady at 6. Now, this one is kind of concerning here. We know the Boston Bruins should be able to get things done. The Islanders, I can't trust the Islanders. They lost to the Hurricanes 3-0. This is their first game here of a road trip. We've seen the Boston Bruins off a win over Vegas. That was a 3-1 win on the road in Vegas. Now they're home off that 3-game road trip, which is my only concern here. But we know how strong the Boston Bruins have been. They're 14-0-0-1 at home. Their only loss at home came in extra time. It was not in regulation. So I think if you can find good value on the Boston Bruins here in regulations, definitely something to look at. I saw -135s, -140s in there. I definitely think the Boston Bruins can take this within those 60 minutes. Now, they have won each of their last 12 home games against opponents from the Eastern Conference. So I see them coming out. New York is dealing with injuries as well. They were limited completely by the Canes on their ability to get the shots on goal. Boston is going to be able to limit them even more. This team is only allowing 2.11 goals per game and 28.7 shots on goal. So Swarman expected for them. I think you just got to go Boston in regulation. This is probably a good one to throw them into a parlay. Like I said, we've got tons of huge favorites here. We know one or two of these favorites will fall in this card today. So I caution you on putting too many big favorites on the money line in a parlay, because the books will win if you do that. But I think the Boston Bruins are a solid one here to get the win. Brock Nelson, though. You could look at Brock Nelson of the Islanders. He scored at least one goal in 4 of the Islanders' last 5 games versus the Boston Bruins. He seems to be able to find the back of the net of Ullmark and Swarman. So Brock Nelson of the New York Islanders for that anytime goal or his shots on goal. I'd also look at the over 6 in this one. So last night we sat here, we talked about that Devils game, that it was going to go over right away, or this one wouldn't, right? Like, it was just one of those situations, super weird. The Devils, and they just lit up the net. It was just one of those ones where there was nothing we could do. We knew that was coming the minute they started firing. I think this one is probably an over one. I can't trust the New York Islanders defensively, what they've been doing. They've been allowing only that 2.67, but they're allowing 31.8 shots on goal. I do think that Boston Bruins will be able to put those up in this one. The Seattle Kraken come in here facing the Tampa Bay Lightning. 7 o'clock Eastern on this one as well. Plus 158 for the Seattle Kraken, minus 192 for the Lightning. We have a total of 6.5 in this one. The Seattle Kraken off a win over the Panthers. That was a 5-2 win on Saturday. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they won their last game versus the Panthers too. Both of these teams played the Panthers in the last one out. The Lightning got it 4-1 win over the Panthers. Now, Lightning come in here off of more rest. They haven't played since Saturday. Kraken on Sunday. But you guys, I think this one is one where the dog is barking in the Seattle Kraken. I'm not ready to fade this team that is a 7-1 in their last 8 road games. At minus 192, I can't get behind the Lightning. You could take them in regulation if you like, but the Lightning have failed to cover the puck line in each of the last 6 night games following a win. So coming off that win, if it's a night game, haven't been able to have a huge win. Now they're 11-16 on that puck line for the season, 7-8 at home. So if you want to bet them, I take them regulation. I would not take them puck line. We know how strong the Kraken have been on that puck line. They're 9-3 on the road on that puck line. So they've been playing phenomenally well there. And I love what I'm seeing out of the Kraken. So I'm going to take the Kraken here, plus 158. I think it's worth it. Especially with what they're doing defensively, limiting their opponents to 27.3 shots on goal. And Grubauer is confirmed in goal for them. He's got a 3.21 goals against average. You guys know how much I like Grubauer. Tag Thompson over 1.5 points. That sounds beautiful. I think he's going to come out and have a good night in that game for sure. Okay, the next game on the board, you guys, I got the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Detroit Red Wings. Now, I would love to believe the home dog and the Red Wings can get this win here. I just don't know if they can. It seems like the Carolina Hurricanes have been really clicking as of late. They won that last game over the Islanders 3-0. I like their ability to win these face-offs, and I think that they will win those battles with the Red Wings here today, controlling this game. Now, Husso expected for the Red Wings. He's got a 2.56 goals against average. And the Canes their defense is just so phenomenally strong. Only allowing that 2.7 and 26.2 shots on goal per game, which is the best overall in the league. I really do think this is one where the Canes can take this. Now, looking at the Canes here, minus 166 on that money line, plus 138 for the Red Wings. That total sitting at 6. There's been strong trends to that underdog, and the Canes have struggled against the Red Wings. I just don't love the Red Wings in this situation. The last time these teams played was last April. the Red Wings got a 3-0 win. They failed to cover the puck line as a home underdog in their last 6 following overtime. I just can't trust them in this one. This is their first game home off a 4-game road trip as well, which for this team, this is a team that I like to fade off of that road trip. Their Saturday game was an overtime loss to the Dallas Stars. So for me, I'm going to have to take the Carolina Hurricanes here. I'm going to look at taking them in regulation, but I think the best bet of this one is to take the under 6. And yes, I am a little gun shy after taking the under in the Devils game last night, but I do think the under is the way to go in this one. I just don't see if the Canes win this, it's not because of their defense. This Canes team, yes, put up 3 goals on the Islanders, but they completely limited the Islanders' ability to get these goals. I think we have a very low scoring one. At 6, it does make me nervous. I wish it was 6.5, but I'm going to look at that under. Okay, let's just see your comments here. Gil's going to take Tampa Bay on the money line and the over in the first period, over 1.5. I think that is a beautiful way to take that game. We're going to see those goals coming in fast in that one. Chris, go Canes. I completely agree with you there. It should be a great game. Lotto ticket. Let's go, you guys. Let's get on to the next game here. We have the Edmonton Oilers. We got Edmonton taking on the Nashville Predators. Edmonton rolling in here at -137. They're forever Edmonton, okay? You guys know that I'm talking about the Edmonton Oilers when I say Edmonton. Even when I'm betting for them, it's just what we're going to call them for now. Nashville Predators coming in at +114. Now, this total is sitting nice and solid at 6.5. Jack Campbell expected for Edmonton here, and Lankigan expected here for the Nashville Predators. Now, both these teams played last night, so they're both on a back-to-back. The Edmonton Oilers lost to the Minnesota Wild. That was a 2-1 loss. And we saw the Nashville Predators lose to the Blues. It was a 1-0 loss. It was a one-off game on the road. It was a weird situation. We talked about it here on Pikket with Joe, where these teams are home road. It's not a good situation for these teams, but they played a very strong defensive game, just not able to get that win in that 1-0 loss. Now, when we look at the Oilers, they have won the last 7 meetings versus the Nashville Predators, but they are 3-7 in the last 10 in Nashville. The home team going 6-2 in those last 8 meetings. And the Preds coming in here, losing the last 5 as an underdog. One thing I would look at is Leon Draisaitl here. He has scored at least 1 goal in 8 of the Oilers' last 8 games. 1 goal in 8 of the last 9 games versus the Nashville Predators. He seems to be able to connect that puck in the back of the net when he faces the Predators. So I'd look at Draisaitl for that anytime goal in this one. I lean towards Edmonton here on the money line to get the win. I just really can't trust either of these teams, and I think the Predators will be a little bit more tired in this one. So I think the best thing to do is just to hit that over 6.5. That's where I'm going with this one. We got another high scoring. If you like one team over the other, definitely look at their team total over. We're probably going to get more value on that team total over because everyone expecting a high scoring one. In this one, although these two teams, I caution you, do trend to that under. This is one of those games. I've got no premiums out other than the player prop on Leon Draisaitl here. I do think he has a phenomenal game in this one. The next game on the board. Okay, Manny, I see you. You're taking Edmonton -135 and the over 6.5. I wish you all the best in that one. And you're going to take the Devils -160 and the under. Yeah, the Predators defense is their main leg up on the Edmonton Oilers. I completely agree with you there, Jason. I really don't like a side in this. I can make a case for both sides. We know Edmonton offensively just has had teams' numbers. They're averaging that 3.55, but the Predators offensively can't step up, which they should win these face-off battles. They've got a higher face-off percentage of winning, but they're only averaging 2.5 goals per game. Now, Jack Campbell is in goal like expected. They should be able to score over their average of 2.5. So this is probably a good one where you can look at that team total of the Predators. We know that they should do a better job of locking down Connor McDavid and company. But like I said, Leon Draisaitl really does have their number. We do have Lankaken confirmed in there. No confirmations on if it is Jack Campbell or not. Let's see if I can find these team totals and if we're getting any value. Yeah, the Nashville Predators, and this is probably why it wasn't in my head. Their over is 2.5 at -174, so no value there. If you like Edmonton's over, it's 3.5 at +110. If you think it's going to go under, which is juiced to that under at -140, too highly juiced for me when we have such ability for that firepower. But if you think the Preds are going to be able to control it, that under is at -140. So a couple interesting ways to look at that game, you guys. And I appreciate you guys jumping in here with your comments on what you're liking. Keep dropping them. We're going to keep talking them. Build your parlays in the chat. Let everyone know what you're parlaying, which way you're going with these, and below this video so everyone can make some freaking money. You guys, it's us against the books, not against each other. I want to hear what you guys have tonight for sure. And if there's something that I haven't clued into and you totally disagree with my pick, let me know why. Tell me what it is so that maybe I can get on the other side of it if I can. Okay, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Winnipeg Jets. We've got this game kicking off at 8 o'clock Eastern. The Winnipeg Jets coming in here at -140. Connor Hellebuyck expected in goal. Now, he has a 2.33 goals against average. Connor Hellebuyck at home, for me, isn't a fade situation. Now, Vegas is a hard team to bet against. We know how strong Vegas has been this season, but Hill expected in goal for them here, not Logan Thompson. He's got a 2.38 goals against average. Both of these teams offensively have been getting these goals, but the biggest blow, Vegas is without Jack Eichel. This is going to be a huge blow to this team. I think without Jack Eichel, look for the Winnipeg Jets to get this win here tonight on home ice. Now, the last time these two teams did play, Vegas won it back in October 2-1. I'm not sure if it stays that low, but I am leaning on this under 6 here. I think there's just too much strength defensively between these two teams. The penalty kill of the Jets is absolutely phenomenal. They're only allowing 2.56 goals per game and 31.6 shots on goal. And Vegas, we know their defense can really lock down teams as well, allowing that 2.67 and 30.9. So this is one that I'm really hoping I'm not kicking myself in that first period, but I do think this stays under the total. The Jets have won their last 9 home games versus Western Conference opponents as well. The home team's 4-0 in the last 4 meetings between these two, and the Knights have not won any of the last 4 meetings in Winnipeg. So look for the Winnipeg Jets to come out here and take flight. They've covered the puck line in their last 4 versus Vegas. Not sure if I can get there. If you guys want to take them on the puck line, it's a beautiful plus money. I'm this close to taking them on the puck line. I've sprinkled a little bit on the puck line here. They're 8-6 on that puck line at home. 17-10 on the puck line on the season. But we know Vegas has been strong on that puck line as well, 10-5. And when I'm looking at an under game, I hate to put too much money on that puck line because normally a puck line win could push us right at that number. And this number is sitting at 6 and not 6.5. And I like that under. So sprinkling a tiny, not my normal sprinkle on the Winnipeg Jets on the puck line. But I think taking them here on that money line, I could also see it going to overtime. I could see this being a 2-2 game going to overtime, so I'm not going to take them here in regulation. You would get better value. So if you believe that they'll get it done in regulation, absolutely take it there. And the under 1.5 in that first period, I think could be a strong way to go with this. Now, Vegas in the first period is an interesting look. We took them in their last game. They were home underdogs there against the Boston Bruins. Now, at that point, they had won that first period in 5 in their last 5 games as a home as underdog. They're coming into this one as an underdog again. They've now done it 6 times. So could be a spot where you look at Vegas to come out, get up fast, get that one past Connor Hellebuyck, and then for the Jets to completely shut them down. So Vegas in that first period is an interesting look. Again, not sure if I'll get there with that one, but I might sprinkle. I love these trends. I hate going against some of these trends. Paul, you are my new best friends. Oilers are going to lose. Just lose, Edmonton. Like, seriously, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe we can just vote them out of the Pacific. That would be nice. But then I guess we wouldn't have Battle of Alberta, so that would be no fun. Let's move on to the next game on the board. 9 o'clock Eastern, we have the Washington Capitals taking on the Chicago Blackhawks here. Now, Lindgren is expected for the Washington Capitals. He has a 2.79 goals against average. When I was trying to say, never mind. And we've got, I don't know what I'm trying to say, you guys. It is Tuesday that feels like a Thursday. I want to say a shout out to Matt here and Courtney here. I appreciate you guys for joining me. Now, Peter Maratz is confirmed here for the Chicago Blackhawks. He's got a 4.06 goals against average. Now, looking at this, the Capitals rolling in here at minus 220, plus 180 for the Chicago Blackhawks, total sitting at 6. I want to take the value in the home dog in the gross Blackhawks here. They've lost their last 3 games, not one. They lost to the Winnipeg Jets on Friday 3-1. They come in with so much rest, but this team absolutely sucks off rest. 1-4 in their last 5 games, playing on 3 days or more rest. The Washington Capitals off a win to the Jets on Sunday. It was a 5-2 win over the Jets. The Washington Capitals were able to get. That was one that lost me money. I was expecting the Jets to get this win. My concern here for the Capitals, and don't get me wrong, they are a way better team than the Chicago Blackhawks. I look at their schedule. I look at who they have on deck. On Thursday, they have the Stars on deck. Then they have the Maple Leafs on deck after that. This could be a small sort of look-ahead spot. Let's just get this game over and done with against a Chicago Blackhawks team that's 7-15, 2-2 on the season, not playing well at all. We know the Capitals are the better team, but Charlie Lindgren expected here. This could be one where the Chicago Blackhawks find a way to get it done. If they can stay out of the box, another one of these teams that absolutely frustrates me here, taking these penalties all the time. Now, these teams haven't played since last December. It was over a year ago. Chicago got a 5-4 win over the Capitals. The Capitals have won their last 4 games. They're 4-0 in their last 4 games, coming in on 1 day's rest. They're a stronger team here. We've seen the Blackhawks lose their last 7 games at home. I don't know, you guys. You can look at the Blackhawks team total. You know I'm sprinkling already. You know that I love chasing that plus money. I sprinkled on plus 180 here for the Chicago Blackhawks because at the end of the day, I like it. But I think their team total over 2.5. The only way they can win this is if they get these goals. Now, the over 2.5 is at plus 110. And when we look at when these teams have played, they played 28 games up into today. The average score over those 28 games, or average goals, is 6.7 goals over those 28, with the Chicago Blackhawks rolling in at 3 goals and the Washington Capitals at 3.7. So that over 2.5 at plus 110 is absolutely screaming at me. It is one of my premium bets. Just so you guys know, I've taken their team total over 2.5 because I can't turn down that plus money in a game where I think the Capitals could be overlooking the Chicago Blackhawks here. And I think it's a higher scoring game. Give me the over 6 in this one as well. These teams are trending to that over. 4 of their last 6 games have gone over that total in Chicago to have pushed right on the number. So at the 6, I like it. At 6.5, I might stay off it. So make sure you shop those lines. Get that 6. Don't get that 6.5. Should be a good game out here. But the Chicago Blackhawks team total over 2.5 is my favorite bet here of the day. It is a good spot here for the Chicago Blackhawks. They have to break this losing streak at home, you guys. Sprinkle it. It's Chicago in regulation. I like it. Pays plus 265 on the over 6. I love it, many sports, you guys. Definitely a good way to look with that one. Anthony, welcome to the show. Ovechkin definitely itching closer to the 800. Who just hit their 900th game in the NHL? I'm drawing a blank on who that was. I was looking the other day. Whoever can tell me that, let me know. And yeah, it is personal with Edmonton. They lost that game versus the Washington Capitals. I sat here and told you guys, if they lose to the Washington Capitals in a game that they were huge favorites, I trusted in them. Everything pointed towards them that they would be dead to me. They are now officially dead to me, Joe. Okay, so we're going to have faith in the Chicago Blackhawks here. Plus 2.5 at plus 110 for their team total over. I'm sprinkling, but you don't have to sprinkle on them on that money line. I just can't get past that beautiful plus money. You guys know any opportunity I have looking at that situation. I'm huge in the situational handicapping, looking at when we've got a dog that could pull it off because a team overlooks them. So the Philadelphia Flyers take on the Colorado Avalanche at 9 o'clock Eastern. Now, the Philadelphia Flyers come in here at plus 190, minus 235 here for the Colorado Avalanche, still dealing with injury concerns. Nathan McKinnon still out of this game. Now, Sandstorm confirmed in here for the Philadelphia Flyers. He's got a 3.39 goals against average. If we were seeing Carter Hart, I might take the Philadelphia Flyers here. I don't know if I can get behind them. We know the Avs are still dealing with so many injuries, but I think this is one of those games where the Flyers, can we trust them to get the goals? And that's my hugest concern with this team. Defensively, we know they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot, allowing that 3.28 goals per game. But offensively, this team isn't getting those goals. They're only averaging 2.41 goals per game and 29.4 shots on goal. Colorado still has solid players, even with all of these injuries. They are off that overtime win versus the Blues. That was a 3-2 win. Now, we've seen the Flyers lose their last 3 games. They had an overtime on Sunday, was it? I'm not quite sure. I'm drawing a blank on what that loss was for them on Sunday. I'm pretty sure it went to overtime. They have lost their last 7 games following overtime as well, so something to take into account. I just can't get behind the Avs at the value, even if we're taking them in regulation. This card today, I tell you, isn't beautiful at all with these high juice favorites. So I would look at the Avs team total before anything, because we know the Avs can still get the goals here, especially on Sandstorm confirmed for the Philadelphia Flyers. I can't take an over in this game because I don't know how the Flyers are going to come out. They could get no goals, and the Avs could get 5, and we stay under this total sitting at 6. So I'd look at the Avs team total. You're calling me over Joe today? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see how these games go. The Arizona Coyotes and the San Jose Sharks. You guys, this is the last game on the board. Not one that I am too excited to watch. Now, the Arizona Coyotes come in here at plus 146. The San Jose Sharks at minus 176. And the total has dropped from 6.5 to 6. I still like it over this number. I know we've seen the line move down, which is never a good sign. But I think between these two teams, although they have not been explosive offensively, we saw the Sharks put up 6 goals on the Anaheim Ducks. I know the Ducks defense is worse than the Coyotes, but I'm looking for both these teams to come out and get the goals, get us over that number of 6 here. This isn't a game that I think we should write home about. It's just 2 not great teams. The Coyotes sitting here 9-13, 2-2 on the season. The Sharks 9-16, 2-3. Now, that being said, we still made money out of both of these teams in certain situations. The Sharks in that first period, the last time they play. This was last Friday. I'm drawing a blank on who they played. It's like we look at a million games between today and last Friday, but them in that first period, where were they? Whoever can tell me where they were, because it's going to bug me until I look back on that game. But the Sharks in that first period versus that opponent or for them on the road is definitely a strong way to take it. I'll be taking that again next time they play in that arena, because it's on my list of trends that do not fail me. But between these two, the home team is 8-2 in the last 10 meetings. James Reimer expected here for the San Jose Sharks. He's got a 3 goals against average. I think we have to look at offensively. The Sharks are the better team. The Arizona Coyotes won the last matchup 5-2, but for myself, it's going to be a tight one. That's kind of a coin flip. I just hit the over 6. So that's where I'm going with that one. Manny's taking here the Coyotes at minus 0.5 plus 265 in regulation. Been on fire the last several games. Yeah, they have. They've won their last 2. Now, that on Sunday was a 5-4 win over the Flyers. So that game went to overtime. So we have seen the Coyotes dig deep for sure. John Carlson and the Caps here for Matt. And Joe taking the play of the day, the Blackhawks team total over 2.5. Yeah, I feel so confident with the Chicago Blackhawks to come out and get over that 2.5 with just the situation of the Washington Capitals. So let's go back and recap. I will do a huge long shot parlay. And then from that long shot parlay, I'm going to give you my 3 best bets from that parlay, what we'll take out of that and parlay it together. So let's get going, you guys. The 41-minute mark here. We've moved fast through these games. And again, make sure you join me back here at 5 o'clock Eastern with Kedrick Taylor. Going to be talking about his life. He was an NFL wide receiver. You'll probably know him from that famous catch off of Brett Favre back in the day. So Anaheim Ducks taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs here. The only thing I really like in this game is Mitch Marner for that anytime goal or points in this one. I think he comes out and plays strong here versus the Ducks. If you want to take a side, I lean more on the Ducks on the puck line plus 2.5 at minus 118 than I do on the Toronto Maple Leafs, because we all know that they play down to their opponent. That being said, they could come out and just dominate the Ducks and have a 3-0 win here. But I do think this is one where the Ducks can get a couple goals in this one. So I am leaning on that over 6.5. But like I said, the only way that I would actually take this one to the window is Mitch Marner. We know we can trust in him. I'm going to leave that game out of the parlay. I just don't like it. The Columbus Blue Jackets and the Florida Panthers. I think the Columbus Blue Jackets could be a road barking dog here. It might be worth a little bit of a sprinkle. That's where my heart wants to go with this. Betting wise, I think the safest and the best bet is to just take the Columbus Blue Jackets team total here over 2.5. You're getting that at minus 102. Bobrovsky is confirmed in goal for the Florida Panthers, but we know the Columbus Blue Jackets have been able to get some goals on him. So I think the best bet here is the Columbus Blue Jackets team total over 2.5. You can look at the Columbus Blue Jackets to keep this tight. They have been covering that puck line following overtime. So taking them here plus 1.5 at minus 100 is another great way to go with this one. And Patrick Lane, I'm going to take for that anytime goal here of the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think there's value in that. And I do lean on that over 6.5 for this game now that it's moved down from the 7. I'm going to throw the Columbus Blue Jackets team total over 2.5 in the parlay. We know the Columbus Blue Jackets are able to get these points, and at minus 102, we're not paying juice. My biggest concern with this game for Columbus is Elvis. Elvis is in the building. Never a good thing to say. We are just going over these plays right now, Jay, so stick around. Let's go. The next game on the board to recap, the Dallas Stars and the New Jersey Devils, both teams on that back-to-back. I think the Devils in regulation is a nice way to go with this one. I can't step in front of the Devils. The Devils team total over 3.5 is interesting as well. And the Devils on that puck line, intriguing to me today at -1.5 at +160. So the Stars here are a phenomenal team, but with Scotch Wedgwood, they're not the same team as we see them with Ottinger. So I do think the Devils with home ice advantage on this back-to-back. But that being said, I can see a lower scoring one in this one. So taking that puck line, you've got to think that the Devils completely limit the Stars' ability to get things done. But the Stars not good on that back-to-back or versus teams with winning records. So I'm sprinkling the Devils on the puck line. The Devils in regulation, great way to go with this as well. For the parlay, I'm just going to throw the Devils on the money line. And like I said, you guys, we know some of these big favorites are going down blazing today with the underdog coming out. It's just a matter of which ones do. So highly juiced, some of these teams. Now, the LA Kings and the Buffalo Sabres, I do lean on the Sabres here to get the win at -108. I think it's great value. I do think we have the first period over 1.5 as long as the Kings can put in their share. Both teams to score, another great way to go if you're liking that over 1.5. If you think the goals will come in from both of these players, both of these teams, my only concern with this over in this game, if this Copley comes out as strong as we have seen him so far, 2 goals against average. We know Anderson of the Buffalo Sabres can allow in these goals. He's still got a good goals against average under 3 at 2.97. But I do think the consistency of the Kings, if they step it up, we do see that first period go over. We do see both teams score in that first period, and we see the over 6.5. Copley just cannot come out and stand on his head because it will frickin' screw us in this one. So let's look at the next game. Oh, so for the parlay, I'm going to throw, let's do the Buffalo Sabres team total. I'm going to have to look that up right now, but that is what we're going to hit in this because I do trust in, actually, you know what? Let's look at this really, really quick. Copley is the question mark for me in this game. So I trust in the Buffalo Sabres to get these goals if Copley shows a little bit of regression. Now, their team total is 3.5 at +116. LA Kings team total is 3.5 at +114. Okay, I'm leaving both off. Just give me the over 6.5 for the game between the Buffalo Sabres and the Kings. I was really hoping I'd get a 2.5 for the Kings and then I'd be happy, but not at that 3.5, even with that plus money to throw into the parlay. The New York Islanders and the Boston Bruins. I'm throwing the Bruins in regulation, just on the money line. No, in regulation for the parlay. I think they have a big night here over the New York Islanders. I don't think the Islanders can keep up with the Boston Bruins here. I think the Bruins are just a stronger team. But I do look at Brock Nelson for that anytime goal of the Islanders. I think he comes out and has a good game. I'm going to hit the over 6 in this one as well. I think the best bet is to take the Bruins here in regulation. The Seattle Kraken and the Tampa Bay Lightning. You guys, I got to ride with the Seattle Kraken here on that money line. You guys know I love a good dog, and they're coming in at +158 with Grubauer already confirmed in goal. I love what we've seen out of Grubauer. I love what we've seen out of the Seattle Kraken on the road. The Tampa Bay Lightning, Andrei Vasilevsky hasn't been as good as we saw him last year. They haven't been blowing people out at home, going 7 and 8 on that puck line. So I can't trust in them here. I'd rather sprinkle on the Kraken on that money line. That being said, I'm going to leave this one out of the parlay because the Kraken on the money line, we've got a big dog here that we're trusting in. So I'm just going to leave it off. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Detroit Red Wings. Give me the Canes here. I'm going to take the Canes on that money line for the parlay. I do think they come out and get a nice win over the Red Wings, but I do think this is a strong defensive game. I'm going to take the under 6. I know I'm a little gun shy taking these unders after what we saw last night, but I got to hit the under 6 there. The Edmonton Oilers, Edmonton taking on the Nashville Predators. Leon Draisaitl, I think, is a great prop in this to get a goal on the Nashville Predators. We know these goals will come in. These teams trend to that under, but I don't know. I'm going to look at that first period over between the Edmonton Oilers and the Nashville Predators. with the defensive battles that Edmonton has been facing and their goaltending, I do think this is one where they continue to struggle. Maybe both teams to score that over 1.5 in that first period would be a nice way to take this. If I had to take a side, I see all the reasons why. And the more I talked with you guys and looked at this defense of the Nashville Predators, it is a stronger defense. That if their offense can step up, which will be the question mark, but they should be able to against the Edmonton's defense. We should have a really competitive game. I would lean on the Preds just on that home ice to get a win. But they are 7-4-1 at home. So it is a good situation to take them. I don't know. Edmonton off that loss is so dangerous. So I think the best bet in this is Leon Draisaitl to get that win. And that first period over 1.5. So I'm going to take Edmonton and the Preds first period over 1.5. I'm not going to take both teams to score because we all know Edmonton could come flying out of the gate and get those 2 goals, or the Predators could, because sometimes Edmonton starts slow and sometimes the Predators do. The next game on the board, you guys, we have Vegas taking on the Winnipeg Jets. I love the Jets here. I think without Jack Eichel, this is going to be a hard game for the Vegas Golden Knights. And with Connor Hellebuck in net, even harder. The Jets will play them strong. I'm going to take Jets on the money line for the long shot parlay. And I'm leaning to the under in this one. I think we do have a lower scoring game here between these two that I think the defenses take over. Again, I am gun shy on these unders. The Washington Capitals and the Chicago Blackhawks, best bet I think of the day is the Chicago Blackhawks team total over 2.5, just to have Washington in a little bit of a look ahead spot. The Stars and the Maple Leafs on deck is not something to sneeze at for this team. They could just look past the Chicago Blackhawks team that's lost their last 7 at home. They haven't played since last year either. So I'm going to take the Blackhawks team total. That's what I'm going to throw into the parlay at over 2.5. I do like the over 6 in this one as well. I think we've got a higher scoring one. Like I said, they played 28 games so far against each other overall with an average goals of 6.7. It is tongue-tied Tuesday. That is for sure. It's probably because I have not drank or ate anything since my coffee this morning. This day is rolling by so fast. The Philadelphia Flyers and the Colorado Avalanche kick off tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern. I don't like this game at all. I would love to take the Avs here, but they got so many injuries, and I can't trust the Flyers to score goals for this total. If I had to take anything, I'd look at the Avs team total and probably take it over. Let's see what value we're getting on the Avs team total, because I tell you guys, this game just doesn't scream bet me now game, but let's see what we got here. So Colorado's team total is over 3.5 at -106. I'm not getting there. If it was some plus money there for us, I would take it, but I'm not getting there at that. They should go over their team total, but -106, it's not worth it for me. And then the Arizona Coyotes and the San Jose Sharks, you guys, I think we've got a higher scoring one here. I'm going to take the over 6. We know the San Jose Sharks just put up 6 goals on the Ducks. And like people have said, the Coyotes have been clicking. They won their last 2 games with that Sunday win being 5-4 versus the Flyers in overtime. So give me the over 6 for the Coyotes and the Sharks for the parlay. So let's just recap the parlay, you guys. We've got the Columbus Blue Jackets team total over 2.5. The Devils on the money line. The Kings and the Sabres over 6.5. The Bruins in regulation. I don't think we need to go money line. It's just so much high juice. I still don't like to throw it into the parlay. The Canes on the money line. Edmonton, the Predators, first period over 1.5. The Jets on the money line. The Chicago Blackhawks team total over 2.5. And the Sharks and the Coyotes over. So when I'm looking at which bets I would take out of this and I feel most confident in, I love those team totals, the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Chicago Blackhawks. taking those two team totals over 2.5. I expect 3 goals out of both of these teams. I would put that in a 2-leg parlay. The Canes here, the Hurricanes on the money line and the Winnipeg Jets on the money line. I love both of those teams on the money line tonight. So if you're looking for another 2-leg parlay, which is just 2 teams on the money line, that is the way I would go with that one. The Devils in regulation is another one that I feel pretty confident about. And then the Buffalo Sabres in the Kings game over that 6.5. So you guys, that's what I like today. I want to wish you guys all the best on the ice tonight. Let me know what you win. Drop it below. Let me know what you're betting. I like to celebrate what you guys won, even if you're telling me after the fact, because it's a good thing. And if you tell me before the fact and then I can get on something that I missed, please do. Because especially if it's plus money. If you got a big plus money bet that you want me to take, let me know so I can jump on it. But you guys, all the best. Good luck. Keep smiling. Let's make some freaking money. I'll be back here tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern for another Pikket with Joe. But join me at the top of the hour at 5 o'clock Eastern as I welcome on Kedrick Taylor. I'm going to be talking about his book, which talks about his life. It's called Behind the Quiet Smile. He is famous for that catch that he made from Brett Favre to get the touchdown in that game Brett Favre became famous in. So make sure you guys join me back here. It's a good day to make some frickin' money. Let's do it, you guys.